century. His verse is rather difficult, as a matter of fact, and I feel that I really ought to try to explain it to you. For one thing, the kind of meter that he writes in is one which is not at all known outside of Transylvania or Moravia. Hello, Edna. I thought I was introducing a Moravian poet, but it's lovely to see you.
It's
lovely
gorgeous to see you.
Yes,
Isn't it a delightful evening? I'm enjoying every minute of it, too.
Right. Can I leave you to it, dear?
If you would.
Yes.
How sweet of you, Charles. Charles is an Australian, and he's done very, very well for himself. Oh, goodness me. Isn't it close? So... Oh! I'm in agony here, I am. The ball jammed on my roll-on deodorant. It did. Just as well I stopped at the armpits. Well, I'm in agony here, too. I think my lobes swell with the excitement. I think they do. I could never bring myself to get pierced. Now, since this is a serious cultural event, I'd like to read several Australian poems, not by famous poets, goodness me, no, but poems that have meant a lot to me in my life as a wife and a mother. I notice these days they write poems about all kinds of things, all kinds of subjects. Nothing is sacred, no part of the body. The other day I even read a poem on the subject of lesbianism. Now, I'm a broad-minded woman, I hope. I don't mind the permissive society, but lesbianism has always left a nasty taste in my mouth. Now, this poem... This poem is about motherhood. And it's by Mrs. Tilly Ashton, and it's called... Was that altogether necessary, dear? It's called She Is Your Mother. If she's not quite as dainty in foot and hand as your delicate culture might demand, if lacking that dignity you think grand, still, girls, she is your mother. If the eyes are duller, the dear head grey, if she will have things done in her own old way, if she thinks as in childhood you ought to obey, still, girls, she is your mother. If she talks too loudly in company about her coming across the sea, about the hard times that used to be, still, girls, she is your mother. If even the careless can detect the sound of her county's dialect, it is no excuse for your neglect. For girls, she is your mother. Oh, girls, dear girls, make smooth to the grave the path of her who has been so brave, and many a pang you thus may save from reaching the heart of a mother. I love that one. I do. Oh, dear, I'd like, if I may now, to read a poem. It's to do with perhaps a career which some little boys follow for a little bit of pocket money. It's called The Newsboys. It could well be a poem that our own famed Rupert Murdoch might have read as a kiddie. It could have inspired him to some of the wonderful feats that he has performed, because he, like Charles, has also done very, very well for himself. And, of course, Australian newsboys are very, very like their English counterparts, except, of course, our boys have cars. Well, here we go. It's called The Newsboys, and it's again by a lady. It's by Mrs. Joan Torrance. The Newsboys. I hear their faces. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll have to start again. Oh, I did a Brodsky. Here we go now. We can do that with television. They can clip that little one out, can't you? Well, I mean, I'm not a professional. I hear their voices in the crowd, the newsboys calling oft and loud. I watch them rush with eager feet their favourite customers to meet, and onward mid the human throng, shoeless oft times they run along. Then to the tram with skilful bound, regardless of conductor's sound, the passengers they cannot spare, for they must sell their paperware. Now in and out from cab and train, all striving for an honest gain. Through changing seasons of the year, ring their young voices, shrill or clear. Argus or Age, they're two Melbourne papers. Familiar cry while serving morning passers-by, or at mansion and cottage gate, leaving records of human fate. In evenings bright or in mist glow, Herald, it's another Melbourne paper, re-echoes to and fro. Now here, now there, before you ask, the boy has settled half the task. Perhaps a kindly word or deed, a moment stills the pulse of need. Some boys have eyes of brown so deep, they haunt me when I fain would sleep. Others have eyes of sparkling blue, some with a violet's deepest hue. Some have young faces, bright and glad, but from stern cause some look so sad.